The Galactic Council chamber was the largest room ever built in the known galaxy. It floated in open space, surrounded by stars, protected by shields older than most civilizations. Inside, the air was calm, controlled, and heavy with pride. Representatives from dozens of alien races sat in wide circular rows. Some were tall and thin, others massive and armored. Some breathed gas, others light, others liquid. But all of them shared one thing. They believed they ruled the galaxy. The Galactic Council had ended wars, erased empires, and decided the fate of entire star systems. For thousands of years, no species had ever truly challenged them. They had seen strong races rise and fall. They had crushed rebels. They had controlled technology, trade, and military balance. And today, they were discussing humanity. A small screen floated in the center of the chamber, showing data about Earth and its people. Blue oceans. Green land. A young species. Humans are progressing too fast, said one council member, a tall insect-like being with glowing eyes. But still primitive, replied another, his voice calm and cold. Their weapons are outdated. Their ships are fragile. They rely too much on numbers. Soft sounds of agreement echoed through the chamber. Humanity was not seen as a threat. Not yet. They fight among themselves, said a reptilian general. They waste resources on internal conflict. That is not the sign of a dominant species. The council members nodded. They had seen this pattern before. Young civilizations often burned bright and then destroyed themselves. The council's main concern was not human power, but human potential. They learn quickly, one elder said. Too quickly. Still, there was no fear in the room. Only control. The Galactic Council believed in balance. And they believed that balance was theirs to keep. One of the senior counselors activated a hologram. It showed human ships, small, metallic, simple in design. Look at them, he said. Chemical propulsion. Limited energy weapons. No sign of advanced field control. Laughter followed. Not loud. Not cruel. Just confident. Humans were clever, yes. Creative, yes. But dangerous? No. They trade, another member added. They negotiate. They talk. Talking species rarely dominate, said the insect leader. More agreement. The council had already decided the meeting's outcome before it began. Humanity would be warned. Controlled. Guided. If necessary, restricted. Outside the chamber, stars drifted silently. The council believed they saw everything. What they did not see was what humanity had chosen not to show. For years, humans had sent diplomats, traders, scientists. They had followed council rules. They had paid taxes. They had accepted limits on expansion. They had listened. And that behavior had shaped the council's opinion. Peaceful. Predictable. Weak. The council mistook silence for submission. One council member leaned forward. Humans have requested a formal address today, he said. They claim it is urgent. A low murmur spread across the chamber. Urgent, the reptilian general said. From humans? Perhaps another complaint, someone mocked. Or a request for more territory. The elder counselor raised a limb. Silence returned. Let them speak, he said. It is good to remind young species where they stand. The chamber doors remained closed. The human representatives had not entered yet. The council continued talking, confident, relaxed. They should be grateful, said one alien noble. Without us, stronger empires would have already taken their worlds. Yes, another replied. We protect them from threats they do not even understand. The idea pleased them. Guardians of the Galaxy. Keepers of order. None of them asked a simple question. Why had humans waited so long to speak? Why now? Far away, beyond council space, something moved in silence. No signals. No lights visible to standard sensors. Dark shapes drifted through the void. But inside the chamber, the council members smiled and spoke with certainty. They believed power always announced itself loudly. They believed true strength demanded recognition. They believed fear came before respect. They were wrong. Because humanity had learned a different lesson. Real power waits. And soon, the Galactic Council would learn what humanity had been hiding in the dark. The massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber finally began to open. They did not slide or fold like human doors. They separated silently, layer by layer, glowing with ancient energy. The sound was soft, but it carried weight. Every council member turned their attention toward the entrance. Humans were about to enter the most powerful room in the galaxy. 3 human representatives walked forward. No armor. No visible weapons. No symbols of power. They wore dark, simple clothing. Clean. Formal. Practical. Their steps were slow and calm. Their posture was straight. Their eyes were focused, not on the council members, but on the center of the chamber. That alone felt wrong. Most species entered the council chamber with fear. Some bowed. Some lowered their eyes. Some showed signs of stress. Humans did none of that. The insect-like counselor noticed first. They show no respect, he said quietly. They show confidence, replied the elder counselor. Or ignorance. The humans stopped at the marked position. A glowing circle formed beneath their feet. It was meant to remind visitors how small they were. The humans did not look down. The lead human stepped forward. His face showed no anger. No pride. Just control. Representatives of the Galactic Council, he said in clear, steady speech. Thank you for allowing humanity to speak. The translation systems converted his words instantly. Every species understood him. The reptilian general leaned back in his seat. You requested this address, he said. Speak quickly. The human nodded once. We will. A pause followed. The silence stretched longer than expected. Some council members shifted in their seats. Others checked data screens. The human said nothing. It was uncomfortable. Finally, the elder counselor spoke. You may proceed. The human looked up at the rows of alien leaders. For many years, he said, humanity has followed council law. We have traded. We have shared knowledge. We have limited our expansion. Several council members nodded. This was true. We did this, the human continued, because we believed in cooperation. A few members laughed softly. The reptilian general raised a claw. And yet, he said, your growth has become concerning. The human did not argue. We understand your concern, he replied. That is why we are here. The council waited for a request. A promise. An apology. Instead, the human said something unexpected. Today, he said, humanity is not asking for permission. The chamber reacted immediately. Voices rose. Limbs moved. Energy fields flickered. The insect counselor hissed in anger. What does a young species think it is doing? He snapped. The human did not raise his voice. We are here to clarify a misunderstanding. The elder counselor narrowed his eyes. Explain. The human took a slow breath. For a long time, he said, you have believed that humanity is weak. No denial. No protest. You believed our ships were basic. Our weapons limited. Our reach small. The council remained silent. That belief, the human said, was useful. Useful. The word echoed through the chamber. The reptilian general leaned forward. Are you threatening the council? No, the human replied. We are correcting the record. The second human stepped forward. She activated a small device on her wrist. It projected a simple symbol into the air. Not data. Not coordinates. Just a dark, shifting shape. The council's sensors tried to read it. They failed. The insect counselor's eyes flickered. What is that? The human answered calmly. A signal. Before the council could respond, the chamber lights dimmed slightly. Not enough to cause alarm. Just enough to be noticed. Outside the station, something answered the signal. The council did not see it yet. But they felt it. A pressure moved through the chamber. Not physical. Not energy. Something deeper. Something wrong. Several council members stopped breathing for a moment. The human spoke again. You invited us here to remind us of our place, he said. We accepted. He looked around the chamber, meeting alien eyes one by one. Now, he continued, we would like to show you ours. The room fell silent. No alarm sounded. No weapons activated. But the confidence in the Galactic Council began to crack. Because for the first time in thousands of years, they were no longer certain who was in control. For a long moment, nothing happened. The Galactic Council chamber remained silent. The stars outside continued their slow drift. The dark symbol projected by the human device hovered in the air, shifting gently, like a shadow that refused to take a clear shape. The council members waited. They expected a threat. A demand. A mistake. Instead, they felt something far worse. The pressure returned. It was not gravity. It was not radiation. It was not energy that their instruments could measure. It felt like space itself was listening. The reptilian general slammed a claw against his console. Report, he demanded. Sensors flared to life across the chamber. Data streams flooded the air. Alerts appeared and vanished just as quickly. Then one word appeared on every shared display. Unknown. The insect-like counselor's voice shook. There is something outside council space. How large? The elder counselor asked, his tone controlled but tight. The reply came slowly. We cannot measure it. That answer caused fear. Everything in the galaxy could be measured. Massachusetts energy. Size. Even stars followed rules. This did not. The human ambassador stood still, his hands resting calmly at his sides. You are detecting them now, he said. Detecting what? Someone shouted. The human looked up. Our fleet. The chamber erupted. Voices overlapped. Translators struggled. Energy fields shimmered as security systems reacted on instinct. A fleet, the reptilian general roared. Impossible. We monitor all hyperspace lanes. The human shook his head slightly. You monitor what you understand. The second human deactivated the symbol. The hologram changed. Stars faded. Space darkened. Then shapes appeared. At first, they looked like voids, areas where light simply disappeared. Then edges formed. Hard lines. Massive structures slowly emerged from nothing. The council fell silent. The ships were enormous. Each one was larger than a council battle station. Their hulls were dark, not black, but something deeper. Light bent around them strangely. Red energy lines glowed faintly across their surfaces, pulsing like a heartbeat. No flags. No markings. No visible weapons. Yet every instinct screamed danger. The insect counselor whispered, that power source, it is not antimatter. No, the elder counselor said softly. It is not. The human spoke again. These are dark matter warships. The words hit the chamber like a shockwave. Dark matter. The substance that made up most of the universe. The thing no race had ever controlled. The thing that destroyed every experiment that touched it. Impossible, someone said. Dark matter cannot be stabilized. We thought so too, the human replied. The hologram zoomed in. The ships moved with impossible smoothness. No heat trails. No engine flare. Space itself seemed to part for them. How many? The reptilian general asked, his voice low. The human paused. Enough. That single word carried more fear than any number. The council realized something horrifying. These ships had not arrived. They had already been there. Hidden. Silent. Watching. For how long? The elder counselor asked. The human answered honestly. Long enough. A council scientist broke protocol and spoke out. If those ships fire inside council space. They will not, the human said calmly. Why not? The scientist demanded. Because this is not a threat. Confusion spread across the chamber. The human continued. This is a correction. The hologram shifted again. A single warship separated from the fleet. Around it, simulation data appeared, hypothetical outcomes. Every scenario ended the same way. Council defenses failed. Shield grids collapsed. Response fleets vanished. In seconds. The reptilian general slowly leaned back in his seat. His claws trembled. You could destroy us, he said. Yes, the human replied. But we won't. Why? The elder counselor asked. The human looked around the chamber, meeting their eyes. Because humanity remembers what it is like to be small. The room was silent. For centuries, the human said, we feared the dark. So we learned to master it. The hologram faded. Outside, the dark matter warships remained, silent and unmoving. No attack formations. No weapon charge. Just presence. And for the first time in the history of the Galactic Council, fear replaced confidence. Not fear of destruction. Fear of understanding that they had never been in control. The Galactic Council chamber no longer felt grand. It felt small. The massive dark matter warships hung outside council space, silent and unmoving, yet their presence pressed against every mind inside the chamber. No alarms screamed. No weapons fired. Still, fear moved freely, like a living thing. Council members began to whisper. Some stood. Some backed away from their seats. Some stared at the hologram as if it might suddenly attack. The reptilian general broke the silence. His voice, once loud and commanding, now sounded careful. You brought weapons of this scale into protected space, he said. This violates council law. The human ambassador nodded slowly. We know. Murmurs spread again. Then you admit guilt, an insect counselor hissed. No, the human replied. We admit ability. That answer changed everything. The elder counselor raised his limbs to restore order, but even he could feel it now. The balance of the room had shifted. Power no longer flowed from the council seats. It flowed from the human standing calmly at the center. A military advisor activated emergency projections. Response fleets. Shield formations. Evacuation routes. Every plan failed before it finished loading. The advisor swallowed hard. Council defenses cannot counter dark matter weapons. The room froze. Someone whispered, we were never prepared for this. The human did not smile. He did not show pride. Humanity did not build these ships to rule the galaxy, he said. We built them because the universe is dangerous. A council noble stood suddenly. You expect us to believe this was for defense? Yes, the human answered. Because no one defended us. That simple sentence struck deep. Many races in the room remembered their own pasts. Invasions. Loss. Survival. But they had survived by becoming strong early. Humans had survived by becoming patient. The insect counselor leaned forward, his glowing eyes dimmer now. If you possess this power, he said, why hide it? The human turned to face him. Because power revealed too early invites fear, he said. Fear creates enemies. The chamber fell quiet. And enemies, the human continued, force war. The reptilian general clenched his claws. You are forcing us now. The human shook his head. No. We are giving you a choice. The words echoed. Choice. The council had never offered choice. It gave orders. Decisions. Final judgments. Now, the roles were reversed. One of the elder advisors spoke, his voice trembling. If humanity wished to dominate, the warships outside would already be firing. Yes, the human said. They would. The silence that followed was heavy. For the first time, the council realized the truth. Humans were not aggressive. They were controlled. That frightened them more. Outside, one of the dark matter warships shifted position slightly. It was a small movement. A simple adjustment. But it was enough. Several council members flinched. Defensive fields activated on instinct, then powered down again. The human noticed. Our fleet will not act unless we are threatened, he said. But understand this. He paused, letting the moment settle. We will not be threatened again. The elder counselor exhaled slowly. What does humanity want? The human looked around the chamber. We want what you claim to offer all species, he said. Respect. Safety. Equal voice. The reptilian general laughed bitterly. Equal. After this display? Yes, the human replied. Especially after. A council member whispered, they do not seek the throne. Another answered quietly, they do not need it. Fear spread not as panic, but as realization. Humanity had changed the rules without breaking them. They had not attacked. They had not demanded tribute. They had simply shown the truth. The elder counselor closed his eyes for a moment. The council must recess, he said. Emergency vote. The chamber lights dimmed. As the council members prepared to withdraw, one thought echoed in every mind. If humanity had mastered dark matter, what else had they mastered in silence? The humans remained standing as the chamber emptied. Calm. Still. Unmoved. Outside, the dark matter warships waited. And the galaxy held its breath. The Galactic Council chamber slowly filled again. The emergency recess had not brought calm. It had brought fear. Council members returned to their seats quietly. No laughter. No pride. No casual talk. Every movement was careful now. Outside the station, the dark matter warships still waited. They had not moved closer. They had not powered weapons. They had done nothing. And that was the most terrifying part. The elder counselor spoke first. His voice was slower, measured. The council has reviewed the situation, he said. Humanity's presence has altered our understanding. The human ambassador inclined his head slightly. Not a bow. Just acknowledgement. You have demonstrated power beyond our projections, the elder continued. Such power demands explanation. The human stepped forward again. We will explain, he said. Because misunderstanding leads to war. The chamber was silent. For a long time, the galaxy believed humanity was divided. Weak. Focused only on itself. Some council members looked away. That belief was not wrong, the human said. We fought each other. We destroyed our own world more than once. Surprise moved through the chamber. The human voice carried no shame. Only honesty. We learned something from that, he continued. Power without control destroys everything. The hologram activated again. This time, it did not show ships. It showed history. Broken cities. Empty planets. Human wars. Human mistakes. We nearly ended ourselves, the human said. More than once. A council scientist whispered, and you survived? Yes, the human replied. Barely. The images changed. Human engineers working underground. Silent research stations far from trade routes. Experiments hidden not from enemies, but from fear. We chose secrecy, the human said. Not to deceive you. But to protect ourselves from becoming what we feared. The reptilian general leaned forward. Dark matter weapons are not defensive, he said. The human nodded. No. They are not. The chamber tensed. They are deterrents, the human continued. Weapons so final that no one wants to use them. Silence followed. When a species holds absolute power, the human said, the true test is not whether it can destroy. He looked around the room. It is whether it chooses not to. The council members felt the weight of those words. You could rule the galaxy, the insect counselor said quietly. Why refuse? The human's answer was simple. Because rulers are always challenged. The hologram faded. We do not want your systems, the human said. We do not want your throne. A pause. We want a galaxy where humanity does not have to hide. The elder counselor closed his eyes. You bring peace through fear, he said. No, the human replied. We bring peace through certainty. The difference mattered. Outside, one dark matter warship shifted again, slow, controlled, distant. We will not strike first, the human said. We will not expand through force. He raised his eyes. But if humanity is ever threatened again, the response will be immediate. No anger. No emotion. Just fact. The council understood then. There would be no long wars with humanity. No drawn-out battles. No negotiations after attacks. There would only be before and after. The elder counselor spoke again. The council acknowledges humanity's position. Those words had never been spoken to any species before. A new silence filled the chamber. Humanity had not asked for permission. Humanity had delivered a message. And the galaxy had received it. The Galactic Council chamber felt different now. Not because of the humans standing at its center. Not because of the dark matter warships waiting outside. But because the old certainty was gone. The elder counselor looked around the chamber. Many seats were filled by beings who had once believed themselves untouchable. Now, they avoided each other's eyes. Some studied the humans. Others stared into empty space, thinking of futures they could no longer control. The council will vote, the elder said. Immediately. A soft glow appeared above each seat. Voting symbols formed in the air. This was no normal decision. This was history. The human representative said nothing. They did not need to speak anymore. The vote began. At first, hesitation ruled. Some council members delayed. Others froze. To grant humanity equal power meant changing laws that had lasted thousands of years. But to deny it meant something worse. One by one, the lights changed. Approval. The reptilian general activated his symbol last. His claws trembled slightly as he did. Then he leaned back, defeated but relieved. The elder counselor studied the results. The motion passes, he said. By unanimous decision. A quiet shock spread through the chamber. Humanity was no longer a minor species. Humanity was no longer under council guidance. Humanity was now equal. The elder counselor turned toward the humans. From this moment, he said, humanity holds full council status. The words echoed across the chamber. The human ambassador nodded once. Still no smile. We accept, he said. Outside, the dark matter warships did not celebrate. They did not move closer. They did not power down. They simply remained. The elder counselor continued. The council also recognizes humanity as a stabilizing force. Some members shifted uncomfortably at that word. Protector. Enforcer. Balance. Humanity had become all three without asking. Understand this, the elder added. Fear of humanity will spread. The human replied calmly. It already has. But so will hope, the elder said quietly. That surprised the chamber. For the first time, the elder continued, a species has shown power and restraint in equal measure. The human looked around the room. We learned restraint the hard way. The council began to disperse. As alien leaders left the chamber, many paused. Some looked at the humans with respect. Others with fear. A few with something new. Trust. The chamber doors closed behind the last council member. Only the humans remained. The second human exhaled slowly. It's done. The lead ambassador shook his head. No, he said. It's begun. Outside the station, a signal moved across the stars. The dark matter warships shifted formation. Not to attack. Not to threaten. To watch. Across the galaxy, other civilizations would soon hear the news. Some would panic. Some would prepare weapons. Some would seek alliance. And some would sleep easier. Because for the first time in galactic history, the most powerful force in the universe had spoken clearly. Humanity did not seek domination. Humanity sought survival. And if survival required standing alone against the darkness, humanity was ready. The stars burned quietly. The galaxy adjusted. And somewhere beyond the edge of known space, humanity's secrets continued to grow. Waiting.